Good morning. Well, it's still morning. Good morning. Good morning. This is the Ask Dr. Renee show. You guys, I swear this pandemic, I don't know what time or day it is,
No,
but
okay.
this is the Ask Dr. Renee show. If you've never watched the show before, the show is here to motivate and inspire you to live the life you deserve. Because let's face it, this is the only one we have. We can't do this again. This is it. So, and especially in these times when people unfortunately are here one minute and gone the next, you need to definitely do what makes you happy. Because I promise you, if it makes you happy, all the rest will be taken care of. So, my guest today, I believe, is truly doing that. Not to mention, on top of it, she's doing something that I do, which is I just try to help everyone. She found problems and she found solutions. And so I'm really excited to talk to her. Please welcome Antonia Saint Dunbar.
Hi.
Thank you so much.
Renee.
Oh, thank you. This is so exciting. I'm so excited to do this. So I always ask my guests to start off and say what they want to be when they grow up. But for you, you guys, we have to tell the funniest story. Antonia and I went to elementary school together.
I know it's
all the way back to Wood Creek Elementary School. I cannot believe it. But so this is actually the first time we've seen each other since those days. So because you went to Warner, right?
I think so. Yeah, that was sixth grade.
Right. So I went to Dunkel.
What was that? Third grade was the last time I probably saw you. Maybe fourth grade.
Right. Yeah. So I went to Dunkel. So yeah. So we parted ways because the schools separate us. But it's so good to see her again and to hear. And for me, I've been reading and seeing all these amazing things she's doing, and I wanted to share them with you guys. So let's jump in. What did you want to be when you grew up back in those days?
Wow. Yeah. I wanted to be an astronaut.
Oh.
And I loved animals so much that I wanted to be a veterinarian until I figured out for both of those that it was a lot of science, a lot of math, or at least for the astronaut stuff, it's definitely a lot of math. And I was like, okay, I can't do any of those. And you know what? Honestly, growing up, I did not know what I wanted to be really and how I was going to be in the world and be in service of the world and like have that nice energetic exchange with people. Like I am doing something and something comes back in return. Like, how am I navigating? Because I was raised to be a classical cellist. Do you remember that I used to play?
I do. Actually, I think I do. When you say it now, I think I do.
Like back then before I was 9 years old, I actually started with the violin. My mom got me on that Suzuki program where like you learn all the different songs from the classical, pantheon. And then I decided I wanted to sit down because playing the violin, you're standing all the time. The more you know to play, you're standing more and more at these recitals. And I was like, I love the sound of the cello. I want to sit down. So at 9 years old, I switched to the cello. And then I went all the way through to Northwestern University. I got a scholarship to Northwestern University to play cello. Because you know what? I had talent with it, and then just maybe very confused though, because I knew I did not want to be a cellist out in the world. That was really more my mom's dream. And so
but you know what? You know what? Because my mom, I understand, listening to our mothers, because they're wise women. I know that my mom knows what she's talking about. I know she wants the best for me. Yes. But we are of a different generation. Yeah. And things are a lot different. Because my mom, I had said I wanted to be a doctor, and she was like, okay, this is great. And that's what she was pushing me toward. But I also was a triple threat. I danced, I sang, and I acted ever since I was 5. So I wanted to do that too. And my mother was like, that's not a very good idea. So, because it's not a regular job, whereas being a doctor is a regular job. So yeah, go ahead.
So, that was definitely something that was in my heart to try and figure out was what was I going to do? And I was, fast forward through I loved acting. I wanted to do that. I explored that avenue. Then I went into, public relations, advertising. I ended up picking up my cello again and playing with pop and country artists. John Forte from the Fugees. I played.
Oh, wow.
I wrote a song with him, the cello part that he dedicated to Carly Simon. So I did a couple, fun things. And then, it just, I was not, there was something still empty within my heart. Like I was like, what am I going to do? And it was 2010 that I was working at a recording studio in advertising, helping them, make commercials and do soundtracks for films and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh my God, where's my purpose? What am I getting up out of bed for? Like, I really want to make a difference on this planet. Like, what am I doing? And it was just such a huge everyday thought. And around that time, I became friends with who ended up becoming my 2 co-founders for Thinx, Mickey and Radha Agarwal, and we formed a fast and amazing friendship. They're like, I've known them in another life. I don't know. It was just like we were 3 peas in a pod, and we did everything together. We had ideas together. We ended up going to India together, one of their cousins' weddings. And it was while in India that Mickey shared with me the idea that, Radha had an accident when she was doing a 3-leg race with Mickey, and they were tied to each other. And Radha started to bleed without, knowing that it was coming. And they ran to the bathroom. Radha rinsed out her, swimsuit and was like, "Oh my God, why isn't there stain-resistant technology in women's underwear? This absolutely should exist." And, so it was up late. God, we were on the banks of the Ganges River and talking about wanting to do good and do well. And Mickey shared that with me. And at this time, too, Tom's Shoes was the only company that was doing a 1-for-1. And she shared with me the idea that what if we made an underwear that had a solution for us, but then also it did some good in the developing world. I mean, just earlier that day, and definitely during our whole trip in India, we saw villages where they were barely dressed. They were outside just, in their huts and not a lot of, support. And sure enough, we found out that if a girl does menstruate in the developing world, she can fall behind in class and then end up dropping out of school because she'll just stay home.
Right.
And, because they don't have the right supplies. They don't have a local drugstore to go off to and buy a pack of pads or tampons. And honestly, nor should they. We should not have disposables like we have in our culture. I hope we really move away from that kind of sick habit. Every woman, we're responsible for 7,000 pads or tampons thrown away in our lifetime. And that's not good for the landfill, not good for the earth. And I think now we're starting to see much more companies are realizing, okay, this has to change. That's why it's called, unsustainable, because you can't sustain it. It has to stop. So anyways, when I heard that idea, I actually have it in my journal. That night I was doing, it's great. Google has all my journal entries because I email myself my journal entry. So that night from India, I write, "Oh my God, I have to do this. This is what I want to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I've never done this before, but we need to make this product." And I remember also our friend Heather was at this little discussion. She came to India with us, and we were all talking about our period mishaps, and we all had them. I had them when I was 13 years old, and I was front of the running back of our high school, and he was so hot, and I had a crush on this guy, and it happened to be pajama day. And so I was wearing, I remember my favorite pajamas. They were the satin, pink and white striped little lacy pocket, pajamas. I had a little robe. And then he's like, "Tony, I think you sat in some ketchup." I'm like, "Oh, I did not. I go to the bathroom and I rinse it out, and then I'm soaking wet and I'm embarrassed and I'm mortified. I mean, that's enough to send somebody never wanting to go back to school again,
Right.
So I had those stories, and so leaking and staining in women's underwear, I knew I wanted to create this. So there I found my passion. So to answer your question, I really had to find the purpose. And with Thinx, that was the beginning. And now with my shoe company, that's extension of that. And I really am very much about creating solutions that solve problems and making the world a more sustainable place.
And so, you say something that is so important. Anybody that has thought about starting a business, wanting to be an entrepreneur, that is the key. You find a problem and you solve it.
Yes.
My problem was that doctors needed to be heard on TV, radio. You needed to hear from actual medical professionals about medicine. So I helped them to get there. That's the problem I'm solving. The other thing is that people generally need the information. They need to know before they go into the doctor's office certain information, because you need to know the right questions to ask. And if you've never went to medical school, you may not know them.
Right.
Well, me and my clients, we give information to help you so that when you go, you have more information. So we're educating the mass on their health. So that's the thing. You find a problem and you create the solution. Yeah. It's just your solution happens to be the most amazing solution ever. So you know, I'm gonna play this first because she hasn't seen this. Yes, I have a lot of pairs, but just a minute. Okay, we're gonna play this real quickly. Watch this.
Okay. Hi, I'm Dr. Renee. I've been using Thinx period panties for about 4, almost 5 years now. I absolutely love that. First and foremost, because I'm not wasting money and gas going to the store to get pads, and I wasn't really a tampon user. I used them very rarely, so that's my biggest thing. Secondly, the way that pads feel, like you're always reminded it's there because you can feel it. I felt like I had a diaper on. I felt like everyone knew I was on my cycle because they bulged, because I'm a heavy bleeder. That's another good thing that you need to know. The third thing is they're great for the environment. And of course, along with saving money, I'm not ruining any clothes. I'm not ruining underwear. I'm not really ruining my clothes because of the leakage, nothing. It's free bleed and it's so amazing. No one would know I'm on my cycle unless I tell them. There's no odor, there's no leakage, and they're wonderful. And if you would like to try them out, $10 off using my link, and there is a money back guarantee if it doesn't work out for you. You can do that as well. But I promise if you try it, you'll fall in love with it. And there's a lot of other options out there. As a matter of fact, Thinx even has other options that you could check out. Check out the website, shethinks.com/Renee, RENEE. Bye.
So that's my little commercial. So here's the Thinx Air, which are like the lightest ones ever. I never could wear these because I don't have periods like that. And then of course Speaks, which was Icon, which I think is so ingenious. Like when I saw the ads, I had no idea they were related until I went to headquarters the first time, which was in 2018. And they were like, oh yeah, da 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 da. And I was like, well, who knew? And so honestly, I own more of these than I do of Thinx because obviously these are something you'd wear every day. And so I walk usually when the world is open. I walk 6 to 10 miles a day. Oh, wow. And it just makes better sense for me to wear these than to wear a regular underwear because God forbid, although I'm very strategic about my walk and I live in a metropolitan city, I know which hotels I like the bathrooms of and which restaurants. And so, you know, I try to make sure I can run into one of those. But if I'm running, this has saved me many a time. Yes. And then, of course, for the children, for the girls that are just starting their cycles for the first time, it's a little glare. Here's the between, and they have such cute little styles. Yes. But I think that it was just ingenious. And it was ingenious because I, as a heavy bleeder, had to wear those thick, horrible pads because, you know, my mom was from the old school and tampons was just not something she pushed. Right. And so I had to wear those thick, horrible pads, and they were so thick and so uncomfortable and just miserable. Yeah. And it was like, really?
Bad for you and bad for the planet.
Yeah. Exactly. And then, you know what? Right before I switched to Thinx, I started breaking out. Like I had diaper rash from them. So I didn't know what I was going to do, but I was going to have to figure out something because clearly I had grown allergic to whatever was in them. And so I was like, this is the best thing ever. And when I tried them, I honestly did not have a lot of faith. I thought, this is crazy. But I tried. And I tried them and I literally forgot I had them on until I went to the bathroom and was like, oh, I've had these on all day. Nothing has happened. Yeah. And so then I was sold. I bought me a couple more. I bought one more pair. So I used to rotate with 2. I don't know how I did that. But then I had 3 pair for my little 5 days. And then now I have 1 pair that I specifically wear to bed at night. And then I have, and then I finally, after me being an ambassador since 2018 and using them since like 2015, 2016, my sister has just now started.
Oh my God.
She didn't believe me. I kept telling her, Alicia, trust me.
Great. You're the early adopter. She's the one that follows on like when she's
right. Right. So she's finally convinced, like, oh, you're right. This was good. And so I tell everyone it's crazy. I never thought that I would be talking about my period so publicly, but
how are we interested if we don't talk about it, right? Like,
exactly.
How are we going to create those solutions if we don't talk about it? And that was one thing that we found was just amazing, was that there was such a taboo about this still. When we were talking about the idea 2010, I mean, all you saw was like the little blue liquid and like women dancing and, feeling great on their period. And it's just, we had to talk about leaking and staining in our underwear. Like, let's address that. And if you actually look at the root of the word menstruation, it comes from a Polynesian word, tapua, which is taboo. Amazing. So, that's where we get our word taboo from. And it means menstruation. Like in the pollen, it means menstruation. So it's like a cultural, like deeply embedded thing that has carried on through the ages. And finally, we're addressing it. And we're addressing it in a way where people can share it with friends, where they're not embarrassed. It's a beautiful pair of underwear and several styles now, right? And it's form and function beautifully packaged together. And it really provides a solution that we need. And it's great. Like the technology is so powerful. I mean, it's antimicrobial, it's moisture wicking, it's absorbent where you need it.
Yeah.
And so that's why you don't feel it, because it wicks away that moisture. Like it really keeps you feeling dry. It's leak proof where you need it. And it's, all nicely designed. I spent a lot of time. I'm the one that, wrote the patent, and I led the design of the products. I researched, the best styles that were out there. I wanted to just reclaim all those styles for the women and just be like, okay, you know what? Even on your lightest day, maybe you want to wear a thong. How about we just make a thong?
Right.
Women love thongs. Like, let's just put some of the technology in there, and then they'll be able to feel, keep 100% of their head in the game of their life. Because so often women, we already have so many things going on in our lives. We have so many things to focus on. Why be distracted by the worry that you're sitting in your chair and you're going to, be so embarrassed because you just leaked and stained in the chair? Like, let's keep 100% of you here and present and solve that for you. So yeah, it's a powerful technology. I love that you love the Speaks too. I mean, Speaks is great for incontinence. That's what it was made for. So one absorbs blood, one absorbs urine, but they both work amazing.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people that absolutely every day they wear their Speaks.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great go-to.
And Speaks also, just like Thinx, has several styles. So Thinx has thong, they have a hip hugger, they've got a high waist, they have the boy short. There's shorts that look like your running shorts. Yeah. They've got leotards. I mean, they have literally not missed anything. They got it all covered for you.
And by the way, that's another taboo, talking about that. I mean, 1 in 3 women actually does have stress incontinence, and it can happen after childbirth. After I had my first child, Victoria, she's 4 years old now. I had to like retrain my bladder. And so I wore Speaks every single day. My second one, somehow I've been fine, but with pregnancy, with weight gain, with weight loss,
exactly,
gravity over time, things can change. So it's really great to not have to sacrifice something to wear that's beautiful, that's also going to be functional for you.
And so I had incontinence in college.
Wow.
Still have had no children, but I do honestly contribute it to weight gain. I was a lot heavier, and I think, and as I lost weight, it got much better. Yeah. And even now it's pretty good. The only problem is that I drink like a gallon of water a day. And so for me to leave my apartment and walk 6 to 10 miles when I drink so much can be a little bit dangerous. And that's why I'm like, we'll just wear Speaks just in case we don't, because like I said, I have my landmarks of where I'm going to stop. And so I wear Speaks just in case we need, we just don't make it all the way in there. But I know where I'm going usually. But yeah, I had incontinence in college, so it's not even it's not necessarily an older woman's thing.
No,
it's
1 in 3.
It's girls and women, right? Girls and women, period.
Yeah.
Period, point blank. And it's nothing to be ashamed of if you lose urine when you cough, sneeze, or laugh. Exactly. And like she said, there are ways to retrain your bladder.
Right.
You could Google them. You could talk to your doctor about them. There are ways to do that without any kind of medical intervention. You can do things. You can be doing things right now, but there's things you can do to retrain your bladder so that you do stop having that problem. But if you do have that problem, this is an awesome solution. Where honestly, the other reason why I really like Speaks is because there's other products out there that were not actual underwear. They were throwaway, just like pads.
Yeah.
And they honestly, it was like wearing paper. And I was like, that wouldn't just be so comfy. Whereas these are so comfortable, you really don't realize that they're special underwear. They're just regular underwear. And because they come in all sorts of designs, nobody has to know. And that's the other thing I loved about Thinx as well. No one has to know. Whereas when you have on pads, everyone could know if they were big enough. And mine were big enough.
That like stick out.
Yes.
Yeah. And it shifts your underwear. That was one thing that was incredibly important to me when I was, working on it. To have something that disguised it beautifully, that it would almost be like your hidden, power secret, and so growing up in my house with my parents, my father was one of the chiefs of design at General Motors, and he would lead the teams on the car logos. He would bring home cars to test that friends had designed, and we would get feedback on those designs. And he was always pointing out good design to me and also bad design to me. Like, look how this door handle, Antonia, you can barely open it, or when you look at it, you don't even know the door handle's there. You're confused. Like, where is the door handle? Or look at the columns of that building. It does not look like it's supporting that roof. Like, look how unbalanced that structure is. So I saw through his eyes how good design really does make your life better or more challenging. And he just impressed upon me this love of like beauty and functionality. And so when I was tackling, like, for instance, the hip hugger, I really spent a lot of time on with our team, just to disguise the seams and make it where the seams were not going to come out through the other side, so that you'd have this, nice back, and it would be all supported through. I mean, the seams you see, they go up in the back. I actually, funny enough, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I have this hanging on my wall in my house, so I thought to grab it for our call. But can you see?
Oh, yeah.
So it's too much reflection. Darn it.
We could see.
This is like a little shadow box that I created with some of our early stuff, and a couple pairs of underwear in there, and one of the hip huggers is in there, and you can see the seams that go up the front, and how to have disguised that and be very thoughtful in the design, so it actually is absorbent, and moisture wicking up the back. So when you're laying down, it still protects you. But how to hide that all in a beautiful pair of underwear when you see it from the outside, you cannot tell.
Yeah, and so I did twice now. I've done a Zoom kind of get together since we've been doing this pandemic. And the first one was with some moms who had tweens, and they just wanted to know more about it. Yes. And thank you to Kelly Pope, who invited me to do that. And so it was awesome. We had a great discussion, but they asked me whatever they wanted, and I told them, and one of the questions was, is there visible panty lines? And I said, no. Right. And the funny thing is that, and it's actually not funny, but whenever I was on my cycle, I wore my underwear with my pad, and then I wore another pair on top of it.
Sure. Yeah, the things we do, right?
Right. And I was like, and so I tried to not get, I didn't want VPL, but I didn't want pad line either, right? So I love that there's no VPL. I mean, and same with Speaks, there's no VPL. Right. It literally is seamless. I love the hip hugger because I told them that it kind of reminds me of a Spanx, but it's not tight like that. But I like how it comes up all the way to my belly button.
Totally.
And especially, a lot of people during their cycle, you're always rubbing your stomach. And so it's really comforting to wear those. I love wearing them. Yeah. And then somebody recently asked me, how do they work at night? Because their pad would roll.
Oh, right.
And I was like, there's no pad to roll. So there's no rolling. There's no rolling. I was like, and I know there's some people who only wear them at night. And I was like, but that's fine. But, you could wear them in the daytime too, but you'll see that you'll wake up and your sheets are just fine.
Right. And so, because we caught up a little bit, the company that I'm focused on now.
Yes. So wait, before you got there now.
Okay, because it was born from getting over to Thinx, but yeah.
Oh yes, I remember reading that. So did the husband and kids come before this company?
Oh, let's see. No, they came. The husband was before. He's been together for 15 years, which is amazing.
Oh, wow.
And by the way, he is the feminine weapon behind the curtain for Thinx. Like, if it wasn't for him, he was our first angel investor. He was our first CFO. He was our cheerleader. With my co-founders and I, he really supported us bringing this into the world. So thank you, Obed Cepeda, for doing that.
So I have to ask, how did you meet?
Oh my gosh, through a mutual friend who, just said, you're single, you need to meet. And we call him our Godfather David, for doing that. He's a gem. And
that's
then
awesome.
For the girls, I got pregnant. Goodness. When did I get pregnant? My first child, was that 2017 she was born? Yes, 2017. And then, I was working on my current company, the shoe company, while I was pregnant with her. Okay. And then now I do have a 22-month-old. So
So tell them how you came up with the shoes.
It's very challenging.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Yeah, I can only imagine. So tell us how you came up with the shoes.
Right. So while I was walking to the Thinx headquarters, and actually the Thinx headquarters is still in that same building in the city, all the way on the west side of the city. And it was actually in some office space that I had won because it was all, socially conscious companies. It was in a space called Center for Social Innovation. And so we won office space for like 6 months. I was like, this is amazing. And I'm walking there, and the walk is so long because there's no train that went there. And I'm going back and forth, and I'm going out at night, and I was just so busy. And I was down to one pair of shoes in my closet, even though I had, like, let's say 60 or more pairs of shoes. And I was down to that one pair because it was cute enough and it was classic to get me through all these events and all my day. And I was like, thinking to myself, while I'm looking at things, I'm thinking to myself, this is ridiculous. Like, why do we here again have a product that is failing us? Like, it looks pretty. It's not even addressing the fact that actually we do need to have comfortable shoes. And also, I was annoyed that shoes were falling apart too quickly. I'd gotten really comfortable shoes, expensive shoes, and the heel tips would come off. The back of the heel would scrape, like just all these things. And I'm like, so my gears started to just turn as I was still, working on Thinx. And I pushed off to the side, and then I, ended up actually focusing on it. And I sketched out the idea myself and figured out what do I want to do about a woman's shoe to make it better. And I addressed all my pain points. And then I found a couple shoemakers here in the city, amazingly, and they happen to also be women. One of them was also an industrial designer, like my dad, who just went on to become a shoemaker. She became a shoemaker, and they brought to life my first shoes. They handmade them all by hand, like 100 different steps, and then hand skived. I have actually an insert here of the technology, literally hand layered all the pieces of foam together to make our first designs. And so once I had that, then I was like, okay, I made it for me, but feet are very different than this part of the woman's body. Like,
Right.
I could adjust for, with things like heavy flow, light flow. Like we say, everyone needs to know your flow. And then stretchy garments, that's a different beast than shoes. So shoes, I was like, okay, I've addressed all my problems, but there are lots of other problems out there. So what else, should I do? So I found a leading podiatric surgeon, Dr. Stan Levine, and she's on the Upper East Side of the city. She's seen easily 200,000 patients over the course of her career, and she's an amazing podiatric surgeon. And she said, I consulted with her, and she said, you know what? I've done so many surgeries on ankles. I've done so many surgeries on big toes that you need to add these couple other things. So through her help, we ended up, finalizing what we ended up calling our soft surround system. And that's what we have, several patents granted, several more patent pending. And it really makes the shoe feel soft like a sneaker on the outside, but within a classic silhouette. So I tackled the ones too, like the really problematic styles that like we love. They make any outfit look amazing because it's so classic. But a high heel, normally you're pounding on the ball of your foot, and that gives you that stinging pain. So I decided, okay, I'm going to build up that insert where it's going to be like triple cushioning under the ball of the foot. You're going to have like a rebound effect while you walk. You're going to feel like you're bouncing like in a sneaker. So, I tackled that. I tackled the pointed toe flat as well. I found flats have no comfort. By the way, hello, I have one of these. Oh my God, nothing in there. You are pounding. You are going to hurt within like 2 hours, 1 hour.
Right.
It's just ridiculous what they try and sell us to pretend like, okay, we're going to feel good in this.
Right.
So, anyhow, I took this on, and then I solved the other things. So the shoe company is called Antonia Saint New York. I ended up honoring it is my first and my middle name, but her mother was Antonia. So my grandmother was Antonia. And then Santa Cassessa was, I'm named after. My mom chose not to name me Santa because then she was worried I was getting, called Santa Claus. So Antonia Saint, I'm honoring my heritage from Italy, my two immigrant, heritage ancestors. And if they did not come here from Italy in like 1905, I would not have been able to embark on my entrepreneurial journey here. So I honor them in the name too. And I say that with, our shoe company, one thing that we really are focused on is addressing the 3 C's. And you know, when a woman, like, she gets diamonds, right?
Right.
Presented with one, it's analyzed for the 4 of the 5 C's, you know, and like, yet it doesn't affect our mood. It doesn't affect if we want to go home from that event early. Like,
Right.
make us feel like hell if they don't support us. So I say, similar to, you know, carrot, color, clarity, cut, and certification, let's start figuring out, okay, is it comfortable? Is it customized fit? Does it fit both of our feet really well? And then also, is it constructed well? So I'm hopefully, you know, I'm spreading the word now. The company really just launched like last year in April. And with our first premier high heel style, we did a market test before that, but I learned a lot about the technology and the fit, the design, because again, it's not like underwear, not like Thinx. Feet are very different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many bones in there and ligaments. I mean, you got to really know a foot,
Right.
and dress it well. So, you know, and just educating women to really think about their shoes differently. Like, how is it? Do you really like that shoe? Is it going to lead to long-term health and you being in a good mood? Or is it going to cause you problems, you know, in your day and then long term?
Right. Right. And you're right. I mean, how many times do you go to an event and the ladies are carrying their shoes on the way out?
I know.
Or before you,
flops.
I was going to say, before you go to the event, you already have the flip flops, or you know that shoe companies have made these little, look like little house shoes or whatever that come in a little pouch for you to carry with you. Yeah. And then you have a shoe bag to put your shoes in, so you can put these little flats on.
Yeah. And by the way, I grabbed one of these, something like this, a high heel relief thing. Like, when you put this into a shoe, it changes the entire fit on the tops, the back, and the sides of your foot. You will be pushed up into the shoe. Even if you size up, you're like, oh, I'll size up to whatever and give myself room. Then the shoe is really not even ever going to fit your foot.
Yeah.
That insert is not made for you. In shoemaking, we say, you know, first you begin with the last. This is a shoe last. So you first begin with the last. And our insert is perfectly fitted for that shoe, so that it is literally going to be a holistic system that surrounds your foot and cushion comfort. We also have, as part of our soft surround system, there's cushion on the tops of your toes. I would always get a blister on my big toe. So like, it is literally surrounding a cushion and pushing you back in the shoe, and you're not getting a hard shoe that you're just hitting as you walk. And then also like anti-blister tabs in the back. Like, it's really surrounding and holding your foot together with a holistic system to make you feel good.
So you don't have to put the Band-Aids on the back of your
right. I know, the Band-Aids, like all this stuff. It's a whole market, multi-billion dollar market, all these inserts. And
yeah, I mean, I know, like, my mom was always like, oh, well, you should just buy some, you know, some pads for the front. And so we buy pads for the front. I had, I'm sure you've heard of them, Insolia.
Yes.
I have those. So, I mean, because I would wear, because I'm only 4'11". So I was like, I'm at people's.
Still 4'11"?
I am still 4'11". Right. I've been this height forever. I am at people's armpits. And I was like, I have to wear heels.
Yeah.
And I usually wear about 4-inch heels. Yeah. And so I was like, well, and I have flat feet, severely flat feet. Now my doctor, though, the first ever podiatrist that ever recommended these to me, but I wasn't wearing heels, I think, back because I've had 3 podiatrists in my lifetime. The one here in Chicago, Dr. Gina, she fitted me for dress orthotics.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
And so they actually do fit in my heels. Good. And so I actually was able to put those in my shoes, even with boots that had heels. I could put those in versus my regular everyday gym shoe orthotics. So that was pleasant, and that helped a lot. And I will tell you, Insolia does work. I will never forget, I had like 5-inch heels on at a celebration for like 6 hours. Everyone else had taken their shoes off. They're like, Renee, you're still in your shoes. Yeah. They're like, are you okay? I was like, I'm fine.
Yeah. That's
so
the thing, by the way.
Yeah.
When I first got my, version 2.0 heels, fresh from, our production factory, I wore them out to an event, and I stood. There were no seats, and I stood for easily like 4 hours and was talking here and there. And I was like, wow, like I can actually do this. Like, this is not killing me.
Right.
And then I've been able to commute. Customers email us. They're like, thank you so much. I can actually like not have to carry the extra shoe with me, and I can just have it, on my foot, and I'm fine. I can get on the train and do what I got to do. So it's a game changer when you have a comfortable shoe. It
Right.
really is. And it's
So, right. So you said customizable. So can you take us through the process of somebody wanting to purchase some shoes?
So the really cool thing that I love, this is one of my favorite patents that we have pending right now, is our split shoe box. Let me see if I can bring it up. Okay, so what this means is that you can, 60% of us, just so you're aware, have 2 different size feet. I am one of them. My co-founder is one of them. Are you one of them too?
Yep. I think I'm about a 9 and a 10.
And so when you're dealing with, I actually have somewhere here, maybe I put it somewhere else. Here it is. When you are dealing with shoes and shoe sizes, it is a difference of like millimeters. You see those little lines?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like trying to see where they're millimeters.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So 2 millimeters, different shoe size. So if you're even off just by that little much, you need a different shoe size for that 1 foot to really have a good fit. And when it comes to a high heel or a flat, you want to be able to not wear a sock.
Right.
You want to have that shoe really tight. It's not going to wobble when you walk. And I always found one shoe was always too tight and one shoe was always wobbling.
Yeah.
And so I address that with this ability to split the shoe sizes. And so you can order, let's say we have 3 different widths. So you can order a slightly wider one. Let's say if you have a bunion on 1 foot, order a slightly wider one here. Or if you do need a little bit longer length, order a half size up. And the great thing is that when you get this in the mail, you try them on at home. And then you're like, okay, this one feels great. This one's too tight on my toes. Or whatever. You let us know. And then you send that one shoe back. And then we will send you the, wider width or longer, whatever.
Yeah.
Or shorter, and then get your best customized fit. That's why we say customized fit, because you can actually customize it. Like, what building blocks do I need to lead to my best fitting shoe? And we have a very simple fit survey on the website too. It's like 6 questions under Find Your Best Fit. And then you can just answer these 6 questions, and then it helps you, figure out, okay, what do I need? And really a good starting place too is just order the size that you think is going to work, and then just try it on home and then go from there.
So, the funny thing is I always said, because I knew my feet were 2 different sizes, I always said one day I'm going to be wealthy enough to be able to have a cobbler create shoes for me that are 2 different sizes, or I'll just be able to shop and buy 2 different sets of shoes, because I knew that my feet were 2 totally different sizes.
Do you know by how much you're off? Is it by like?
I really think it's probably about a half a size, if not a whole size, because it's like they'll be like, Renee, your shoe is flipping off on 1 foot, but then the other one it's not.
Well, girl, we got you then.
Yeah, that is awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah, it's. I mean, 60% of us have this problem, so you are not alone. And there's a lot of people like that. By the way, my mug. I don't know if you can see this.
I can.
If you're going to kick ass, you need kick-ass shoes.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But that is so amazing.
Thank you so much, Dr. Renee. I mean, we should not have to be forced to make the decision to leave a party early, especially once we get back out there in the world. Oh my God, like let us celebrate our lives and not have to go home early because of something as simple as painful footwear,
right?
Standing underwear. Like, let's keep 100% of us focus on who we're being, who we're becoming, who we are, and just live our lives like in comfort. Life's too short for challenges like that.
Definitely. So your dad said your dad works in the car auto industry. So what did your parents think about all this entrepreneurship?
You know what? I grew up also seeing them as entrepreneurs. So
okay.
Remember I was telling you about playing the cello and the violin. So when we would go to those music camps, my mom and dad had a graphic design business on the side. And they designed like bumper stickers, T-shirts, sweatshirts, notebooks, and we would sell them at these music camps. And music camp, by the way, I never spent a summer at home. It was 1 week here, 2 weeks there, always getting in the station wagon and going with my 2 sisters and like being gone all summer. And then that's where they would sell their stuff from their graphic design business. And so I saw them as entrepreneurs, like doing the finances and making things and ordering inventory. Inventory is definitely something to learn because you got to figure out the forecasting. How much do you need? How much can you sell? My mother was never very good at it. I saw that. And also my grandfather, my mom's dad, I actually have a picture on the wall of him advertising his real estate business in Massapequa. He kind of like ran the town. Like he did all the major real estate transactions for the town. So much so, actually, Alec Baldwin mentioned him in his latest book as like knowing the guy in town because they my little known fact, Baldwin boys.
Okay, say that again. You went out a little bit.
Oh, little known fact: my Aunt Kathy babysat the Baldwin boys. So Baldwin, if you're out there and you hear this, do you remember Aunt Kathy? But anyway, no, my grandfather had this real estate business, and so seeing that too, I would go visit, and my grandmother and him worked together, and then all the brothers and sisters, except for my mom. My mom lived in Michigan; that's where we grew up, and this was in Massapequa, Long Island, that they had this business, and they all were in the business together. It was a family business, so I just saw examples of this in my world, like, oh, okay, this is possible. I just never really thought it was possible for me, and I think the seed of it beginning for me with Thinx was finding the right team, like my two co-founders, giving me the confidence to do something like this, feeling passionate enough about it to take the risk of like leaving my job, leaving everything that I knew to go and actually start creating it. And again, that thing about, having purpose, like really knowing that I wanted to create something that was going to help so many others.
So when you did Thinx, you had and neither of the other founders, did you guys have any knowledge of how this went? Because I was talking to somebody recently, I've talked to several people that want to, they have a product and they want to, and I was like, well, I know people that have done it. I was like, but I've never done it. So did you just know people that had done it?
Like done it as in like started a company?
Well, not even just start a company, but actually created a product that went out to the market.
Okay, well, my favorite example of that at the time was Sarah Blakely, who's the founder of Sorento.
Right, yeah.
And I was so inspired by her because there she was selling copy, fax machines and stand-up comedian at night. And I was like, okay, well, I've been in advertising public relations and I play my cello. So I guess that's not that far off either, And if she could do it. And then I also read about her going to the library, getting all these books on patents and then writing the patent herself. And I was like, okay, if she could do that, then I'm going to try and write the patent myself, and which I did. And, of course, then brought on lawyers afterwards. But, I was encouraged. Absolutely. I find that women that create an example for us to be inspired by really do help uplift us all and make it like, oh, that's possible maybe for me too. So really she stood out for me. And then also my two co-founders at the time, Mickey had her restaurant, in the Lower East or Lower West Side, West Village. And so I saw her running that. And then Rod at the time was focused on a children's multimedia company about health and nutrition with puppets. That was really fun. And I saw her working on that. It was very much a startup, and like saw them both active on these projects. And I was like, you know what? With us together, like we can do something here. And yeah, I think those examples really did help. They did.
And I know you guys had an amazing run with crowdfunding. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So we started on Kickstarter and set the goal of like 50,000, and we made it through that. And I think then we did carry on the campaign to Indiegogo. And what was amazing was that it just told the story so well. I mean, I remember like piecing the photos together and editing it. I love to edit. And just figuring out with our editor that we also brought on, like how do we want to tell this story, and creating something that was easily shareable was so important. And telling the two stories of like, this is the problem here and this is the problem in the developing world. That story we could tell in Indiegogo. Kickstarter, they wouldn't let us tell that part of the story. So we were grateful to be able to do Indiegogo after that because they didn't do give backs and things like that.
Okay.
But shortly after, because it was such a disruptive product, and the fact that the model then was every pair of underwear sold that has this incredible technology in it that looks beautiful, that everyone needs, also helped fund the production of a pack of washable reusable cloth pads in Uganda, which was one of the markets we identified first that was in the developing world. 88 million or so girls are out of school. How can we lift them out of, that challenge and keep them in school by giving them the supplies they needed? So that was like our one for 7 that we had as part of, that was driven by this purchase of the product here in the developed world. So that was the original story we had. And honestly, like the press came quickly thereafter. We won actually the Tribeca Disruptive Innovation Award. That's affiliated with the Tribeca, Film Festival. And so many things happened like right away. And, it was really fantastic to see. resonate so much. And we really were breaking the taboo and doing it in a creative way where people could share it and not be embarrassed with other people. So just like actually, by the way, that I launched, that we all launched Thinx with Kickstarter, I did the same thing with the shoe company. And I love the platform at Kickstarter because you can find your people in the world. You can absolutely sell internationally and be like, okay, where will this sell ultimately when I do bring it out to the marketplace? And so I was nostalgic. I set a $50,000 goal like I did, for Thinx. And we blew through that within like a matter of days and more or less, I don't even know, it was like hours. And we ended up we did an Indiegogo afterwards. And this was a market test way before the product was done. Honestly, way before everything was ready. We were just like, will this idea, have legs?
Right.
Will we be able to go out there and do it? And we ended up pre-selling $2.1 million worth of shoes. And so next thing I know, we've got 10,000 customers that wanted the shoes. And so we learned a lot. And it was really, honestly, it was like having a small town or like a city. I mean, my God, some cities are that size.
Right.
And all of a sudden it was definitely a blessing and a burden. And we had a lot of growing pains. It was not easy. But we're very happy with where things are now with our version 2.0 technology. We learned a lot about fit and, the technology, how it compresses, how it rebounds, about our different widths. And so really the company, launched April of last year, but still, I mean, Kickstarter is a really great testing platform. I do continue to recommend it to people if they have an idea and they need funding, because that's what they do essentially is those people that come and see your campaign, they're able to be like, okay, I want this to exist. I'm going to give you money to help you make it exist. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere because that's kind of the risk you take as a Kickstarter backer, but I want you to make it if you can make it. So it is a great way to, help your ideas get out there.
That is
one piece.
Yeah, definitely. That is really it's amazing to sell that many. I mean, that is crazy.
I know.
Crazy. But I think a lot of women are in pain in their feet. So
That's right.
And women are, if you look at the market research, women are the people that do the purchasing. They purchase cars, they purchase the groceries, clothing, shoes. Yeah, so it makes sense. Makes perfect sense. So what do you see next? Like, what is the next thing for you? Besides the fact that we're all going to get shoes, but what do you see?
The next thing is, let me see here. Honestly, I'm focused on the shoe company, and we just launched this style, this block heel, which I love. Nice. I'm wearing them right now. They're my great work from home shoe. Has all the great technology on the inside. So this is our third ever style, and it's going to be shipping out next week from Spain. Amazing shoemakers. I love it. It has this ballistic nylon wrapped heel, just like the other one. So no more nicks, you guys. No more nicks. I don't know if I have an example. Yeah, I have an example, by the way. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Once.
Yeah.
This is awful. You should not have to deal with that. Yeah. So anyway, more styles. I want to address every problematic style that a woman has dealt with, like those strappy little slingbacks that cut into your foot and give you blisters. There's a lot in store that I'd like to launch because really we should have comfort in all the styles that we want to wear. And I'm focused on that for right now. Like I'm very excited about that and growing that and getting through, by the way, this season that we're in right now where people are staying home, and we are going to be back out there. We're going to be dancing. We're going to be having weddings again. We're going to be celebrating with our families. We're going to be going to places of work and sharing ideas with people. So you need good shoes to carry you to those places.
Yeah.
And by the way, though, when I'm home and I'm working, it's a great time to break in a new pair of shoes. I don't wear shoes from the street inside, but these block heels I'm wearing, it literally puts me in a state of mind that I feel productive. If I'm wearing a slipper or a sock, I'm just like, kind of like, but if I'm wearing a supportive shoe, I'm like, okay, I'm here. Let's go.
Right. So are you in major department stores, or is that not a goal for you?
That is part of the plan. I would love to be in Nordstrom's or a store like that. We were premiering actually at Showfield in Soho, which is on Bond Street. They have some 30,000 people through their doors when things are normally up and running. And it's called the most interesting store in the world. and you can just go and see all these different D2C brands, so direct to consumer website brands like ours, because that's where we sell, is on the website right now. And we were about to premiere there before everything sort of hit the fan in our country and the world. So, but we will be back there. There's definitely plans to have places of discovery, because it really is great when women put the shoes on their feet and try them, firsthand.
Right, of course.
You want to be able to feel what everything actually feels like. So that's always going to be part of what we want to do. And so that expansion, getting back to our international customers too, is part of what we want to do, because, that's the world.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have comfortable shoes.
Right.
Everywhere.
Yeah. I'm just, like I said, I'm just so amazed. I was like, I told my mom when I figured this out, I was like, Mom, not only did she create Thinx, I go, but Mom, now she has a shoe line? My mother's like, this girl went to Wood Creek? I said, Mom, right? I told my sister, I go, we're a bunch of lazy bums. What are you doing with our lives?
You are shining a light in the direction that you need to do. And I do feel like whatever we have that intuitive thought about, like what is it that I think about? How can I best be in the world and engage in the world? And what is that thought that just keeps coming up to you? Like, that's what you need to explore,
Yeah. And so I was like, this is just, like I said, Thinx was pretty amazing to me, but these shoes, especially now I've learned so much about them, but I know that I have always, because I really had trouble wearing like stiletto-ish heels for a long time. I always had to wear a clunky heel. And then I finally found shoes that I could wear. And I was like, oh, I can stand in these and I'm not going to fall over. So it, just to hear about the technology, I'm very excited. I was like, I have to try this. This is very exciting to me. Very exciting to me. What sizes do the shoes come in? Also, I wanted to ask you that.
Actually, we cover more sizes than that was my little 22-month-old. Hi, I'm going to see you in a little bit. I'll be back. So the sizes actually, we go down more and up more. So we go down to a size 4 US and then all the way up to a size 13 in our heels.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, 13D, so a nice width.
So the tall girls that have, wear a larger shoe, they got you covered.
And by the way, we are very inclusive. So we have, all sorts of people, men that love to wear our shoes, right?
Yes. Just like Thinx. Thinx is inclusive as well. Thinx, because there's a lot of transgendered transgendered men that still have cycles. And so Thinx is a great, that's a great answer, because most of them obviously do not want to deal with tampons and pads.
Right.
So it's better to just throw on some underwear. And like I said, they have underwear that looks like shorts. So you can look, you can look, masculine as well. So yeah, that's what I liked about Thinx as well. Because even just seeing, online, seeing stories of transgendered men that are wearing them and using them and not ashamed, because Thinx is also online. So therefore you go online, you buy it, they mail it to your house. You don't have to have the embarrassment or the whatever stigma, because even my dad was like, I don't want to buy that. He didn't want to buy the patch. But my dad also was not going to carry your purse. Yeah.
Packaged, and it's totally doable.
Yeah.
So three widths, a lot of sizes, and then you can mix and match those sizes. And
and what's the price range? Because I know somebody's going to ask
me. The price range for the blocks are actually $198. The heels normally are $225, but right now, while people are still home and navigating this time, we actually brought everything to $198 on the website. And then, with these great payment plans, like Affirm and Afterpay, you can get really valuable products at just monthly installments. So we have those on the website too. And I love that. I love when I see that it comes.
Yeah, Afterpay, for those that don't know, Afterpay is almost like your back in the day layaway.
Yeah.
But Afterpay, you pay, you divide it into payments, and you obviously have an agreement with them. They'll take that money out every month on whatever date, but you get your product right away.
Yeah,
so then you just keep paying.
Interest, which is great.
And no interest. Yeah, no interest, which is awesome. I know I wear She Fit bras, which she's from Michigan as well. She's from Grand Rapids. Those are the best sports bras ever. I promise you. I will tell everyone, I have a 38G. So I say G for gigantic. And so for me to wear a sports bra that does not, one, mash my boobs so it looks like I have none, and then it holds them when I work out and when I run or walk, I love them. So they're the best sports bras ever, but she has Afterpay.
Right? Like you want to get a good quality bra.
Yes.
Like women need to invest in products that are not going to fall apart so quickly, and they're going to stay out of the landfills. They're going to endure over time.
Yep.
And help support you. And so sometimes, people say like, oh, the shoes are a little out of my price range or whatever. I'm just like, listen, your health and your peace of mind is worth that investment. Like,
yeah. Well, the thing is, as you said with the podiatric surgeon, you wear the wrong shoes and end up needing to have surgery. Yeah. You might as well have just spent the money on the shoes.
Right.
Because the surgery, and then think about, these are your feet. You might have time off work because you can't walk.
Exactly.
So you add all that up.
Right. We say, if you buy cheap shoes, your feet and your life can pay the price. Like better to invest in something that's really going to help you.
And people don't realize how important your feet are. If your feet are not right, all of a sudden, then your ankles, then your knees, then your hips. And it just slowly climbs up. It's really bad. So you really need to pay attention to your feet. Feet are extremely important. You'll never know how important they are until you have a foot that's not working. And I had a toe that didn't work. And so I ended up with a bunionectomy. Yeah, my big toe. You didn't know how much you need a big toe till you can't step on it. And so I ended up with a bunionectomy. But right before I ended up with it, I literally could only wear gym shoes and I could only walk a block without pain. Yeah. So it was, desperate times calls for desperate measures. I couldn't wear ballet flats and be okay. I could not wear loafers and be okay. I was dying. And so my hips started bothering me too. And she said, you're compensating and you're going to, I said, okay, before we tear up my whole, skeletal structure here, let's hurry up and just get this thing fixed. So, and once we got it fixed, I was back in heels, like I said, 4-inch heels, and I'm good. But you need to definitely pay attention to your feet. Your feet are very important. And even with, like I said, the bras and with Thinx and stuff, my thing is that when you pay attention to these things, one, you feel better when you look better. And, when you wear a sports bra that's really not for you, everyone can tell it's not for you, especially if you go to any of these group workout classes, even if you're doing them on Zoom and people see you bouncing all over the place. That's not good for you look-wise, and that's not good for your body. Yeah. That is just tearing up your system. Right. You don't want that. You want them to stay put, where you put them. And so that's why it's important to pay attention to all these different parts. And it's unfortunate for women, these things are expensive, but you know what? What's more expensive is when you have to repair things.
Right.
Foot surgery is not cheap because like I said, it's time off work. You might have somebody has to drive you around because you can't drive for a period of time because you have no feet to use. Exactly the cost of the surgery. It just gets piles and piles on. Yes. So you want to definitely make sure you pay attention to your feet. Yes. And so these shoes sound like a great solution for you to check out, especially because, a lot of people are shopping while we're at home.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. And I know a lot of doctors that spend a lot of time on their feet at work, and so these would be great shoes for after work. I think you want to go out in the town, but you don't want to be in pain. You don't have to wear your dance clothes. You can wear beautiful shoes.
Yes. And you can wear the block or the flat at home.
Yeah.
When you're a doctor,
if in your office, exactly in the doctor's office. Yeah, perfect. Perfect shoes to wear. So I am so excited we got to do this. This was amazing. And I hope everyone took plenty of notes because, you can do it too. Anyone can do this. We can do it. If you have an idea, you just have to act on it. We will definitely make sure we post the link to the website so that you guys can go and get your shoes. I will, of course, share with my link with Thinx because you get $10 off. Yes. And Thinx has a money-back guarantee. If you cannot stand them, they will, no questions asked, give you your money back. But I'm telling you, it is a game changer. There is no odor. There is no, because everyone's like, but isn't it squishy? They always ask that. And I'm like, no. Yeah. I said, I honestly don't remember until I go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not squishy. And I said, it's just, I tell them, I've told tons of people now that we're at home, I go, if you're not sure, try them now.
Yeah.
Because you're not going anywhere, try them now. Now's the time.
They're like, I haven't tried them yet. I'm like, okay, but you've thought about it for like 3 years. Like, let's do something about this.
Right. And they have free shipping right now. Now is the time. Like I said, my link, you get $10 off. They've got free shipping. And then there's last call on some colors that are going out. So those are 30% off. And you get all of this on top of. Yeah. So you're going to come. Right? Yeah, exactly. And you can get a set of 3. It's a great steal too. So if I haven't convinced you, I don't know what to tell you, but you can always ask me. I will answer any and all questions. I am an open book. Like I said, I tell people I do work with a lot of products, but I am usually a consumer of those products, either currently or in the past. And I am a consumer. I buy my things just like you. I just get a little discount, but I buy things just like everyone else. I go to the website too. And so definitely check them out. And I'm checking out these shoes because I'm very excited. And so everyone, thank you so much. Next week, the first show will be on Tuesday. We have Cher Jones, another amazing entrepreneur in the social media space. So I can't wait to talk to her. And I will see you guys next week. And please don't forget, like, share, start watch parties on YouTube. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.
Dr. Renee, thank you so much. It's been so much fun.
Thank you.